Okay, we are live. Hello,
All right.
everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Steve.
Greetings. Hey, Sarah. Hey, great to be here with you again.
Yeah, it's great to have you as our co-host as always. We already have some people joined. So, hello.
Hello, hello.
Everything looks like it's working. Amazing to hear. Hello, Vanessa. Hello from Brazil. Uh, yeah, webinar is started just now, so you are in the right spot, in the right time. Hello, Jenny. Hello. Oh,
Hey, Jenny.
hello from California as well. Hello. Hi. Yeah, we need a couple of minutes to wait all the people to join. During this time, you can obviously say hi to everybody
Mhm.
because we will have a super active audience. People always share their stories, so it will be just amazing. Below my word, and yeah, just share where do you join us from. So it's always amazing because we have like people across the globe from all time zones, all continents, I believe, maybe most of them, let's say.
Mhm. Wow, amazing. Poland. Hello, Poland. Um,
Yeah, hello
Jenny
from
from Pacific
Poland.
Northwest. Yeah, I'm in Portland. Hello, Washington. Good to see you.
Yeah, hello everyone. Kenneth, hello. Hello. Oh, now emojis are working because previously I had some issues with emojis. I don't know.
Yeah.
We still have some issues. Hello, Katie. Uh,
Nebraska. Awesome. Baltimore, Maryland. I grew up near there.
Hello from Utah.
Utah.
Hello.
Amazing.
As always, a lot of amazing people. Portland,
Yay for
Steve.
Portland.
Yeah.
Dubai. Amazing.
Oh, hello. Minnesota. Andrea, hello. Yeah, it's always amazing that emoji works. Emojis.
Mhm.
Yeah. Hello. Hello from Germany. Hello. I forgot. It's like hey in German to say hi correctly. I don't know. Um, hello, Andy. Andy from Texas. Hello from New York City. Hello. Hello from Denmark. Hey.
Hey, Bevan. Good to see you here.
Portland as well. Hello. Bevan. Yeah, that's nice. Hello. Well, a lot of amazing people today. Greetings from Earth.
Right.
Will we have today
Sweet.
somebody from other planets? I don't know.
Yeah, that'll
Okay.
be pretty wild the day we start saying, "Hey, hello, Mars. Good
it,
to
it,
have you."
it will be useful. It will be useful for
Mhm.
our solar system for sure. Hello from Sweden. Yeah, I've been to Sweden
Mhm.
for 18 months to be honest. So hey.
Yeah. We got
Um,
Canada, Brazil again. Hey, Fabio. Good to see you again.
hello Willow. It's amazing that you are here as always.
Mhm.
Adriana. Hello. Fabio. Hello man. Uh, okay. I
Mhm.
believe we already have some people. Some people will definitely join us a bit later, but I believe we can start to share some insights. And as always, Steve has um, a lot of to share about. So yeah, keep tuned.
Yeah. All right. Well, should I just take it away? Should we get started?
Yes, I
All
believe so.
right. Let's do that. Well, really amazing to have everybody here with us today. Thanks for spending some of your time with us. Want to make this a valuable session for you guys and leave you with some things, some concrete things you can do around ADHD and X-Tiles, and so I'm excited to dig in. Can I speak more loudly? Is my volume not up? Let's just do a little sound check there on my volume. Yeah,
Well,
we got a
everything's
mic.
okay on my side. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll lean in and I'll do my best DJ voice. Uh, cool. So let's get started here. And what we're gonna go through here is, I hope everybody can see my screen. I'm gonna talk about three keys
Yep.
to real planning for ADHD entrepreneurs that actually stick. That last part is super important. Um, okay, so let's get into it. And what I want to start with is something that I've experienced over my life, and a lot of the entrepreneurs that I've talked to, and a lot of ADHD people in general encounter in life, and that is our typical week in life. And this is how it tends to go. Right? Let me know if this is familiar to you guys, if this is resonating. So on Monday, we're like, this is the week. This is going to be awesome. We have an amazing plan, and we've got this big list of stuff that we've probably overcommitted to a super ambitious list, but we're really excited about it. But then Tuesday comes, and on all of a sudden there's these unexpected tasks and some fires pop up. Now we start to feel a little behind, maybe a little distracted, maybe a little discouragement is starting to sneak in. On Wednesday, we're like, oh my God, how is it already Wednesday? How does the week go so fast? And so now we're starting to lose a little confidence in the week, and maybe a little bit in ourselves. And by Thursday, it's like, okay, maybe it's panic time. We've only got, today, and Friday's the next day, and feel like you haven't done enough. And then we get into these indecision loops. What should I focus on now? And then often we'll avoid doing the most important thing by doing almost literally everything else. Suddenly, washing the dishes and all these little tasks become super, super important. And then Friday, it's sort of like a survey the wreckage and a bit of a guilt spiral. Why can't we just get it together? Like, why can't we just make it happen in the way that we would want to? And so then we're left on the weekend to like catch up on everything that we didn't get done. We have the sense of perpetually finishing up, and maybe we've Googled some new planners, maybe some new systems to think, hey, maybe this will be the silver bullet that gets done. And then we set a new plan for the week, and being optimistic, energetic, and creative people, we get back to Monday and we're like, yeah, this is the week. This is the week. Curious, does that resonate with folks?
To be honest, I know it's Tuesday today, but in my head it's like Wednesday that you described. I don't know why, but
Mhm.
Monday was the same, like you mentioned. It was a lot of stuff that I went through, a lot of accomplishments in general. But Tuesday it starts something like like a slide or whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, it's kind of a phenomenon that I've seen over and over again. I experienced it. And so we get into this groove of like, okay, we want to maybe we can make this better. And we say, okay, well, let's just get a new planner, right? Right? A new planner. And there's so many planners that we've like, you go in, if you're on your Facebook feed or you, there's like, this planner has made me like 1,000,000 times more productive, and I've just grown my business 1,000,000,000%. And it's just really interesting, right? Because there's all this industry, all this creativity around creating different kinds of planners, and yet we kind of still end up in the same situation. So what I want to talk about today is like, so what are the keys? What actually how can we make this work for ADHD brains and ADHD entrepreneurs? And so one of the things is, and somebody brought this up in the comments, is like, yeah, we can plan it, but that doesn't mean we're actually going to do it, right?
Yeah. It's like it's not like a task itself, but just a suggestion, something like that. So a lot of comments, by the way, because we are slightly, our stream is slightly behind, like where we at right now.
Mhm.
So a lot of comments, yeah, people
Yeah.
are so
So
active. Yeah.
planners, I don't even like the word planner anymore, because this it's not just planning, right? We actually want to make progress. And we know for ADHD brains, like the actual doing of stuff isn't just because we plan it doesn't mean we're going to do it. So what I really like to call this is 3 keys to real progress for ADHD entrepreneurs that actually stick, because progress is what we're after, right? So, and I'm reading some of the comments. I have 5 systems to organize things. Um, Really cool comments. So thanks for posting those. So why listen to me? For those of you who don't know me, I have been from the outside pretty reasonably successful. I was a startup founder. I took my first startup from idea to exit. This is me winning an angel competition. That's young Steve back in 2008 in Portland. We like to keep it a little weird, so not your typical angel conference. But I took that to exit. to a successful multi-million-dollar exit, and then worked for the company that acquired us, served as the CMO. At the time, we were a $100 million company, then burned out basically in 2017 and started coaching other founders and built a multi-six-figure coaching practice. So on the outside, yeah, reasonably successful, and, was able to do a lot of things. But on the inside, it was a real different story. And, I got to a certain point in life where I would sit down and I would try to write an email. And it's not that I couldn't finish the email. It's like I couldn't finish the first sentence in the email. And so I got diagnosed at age 54 with ADHD. And the experience was, at the time when I was outwardly successful, inwardly, it was just a huge struggle. I was feeling really overwhelmed all the time, paying the ADHD tax. That yes, I'm able to do all these things. And this is one of the things that made it a little bit challenging to think of myself or accept a diagnosis. It's like, what everybody's like, but you've succeeded. You did all these things. Yeah, but the cost at doing it was extreme. The daily struggle to focus, a pile of brilliant ideas half executed, and I knew I was underperforming the whole time, like really, really just sort of, working as hard as I could, but knowing I was leaving a lot on the table. And then it never felt like I could enjoy downtime at all. So there was never like a break and never a chance to put down the weight. And that's where the burnout really started to creep in. And so since then, that diagnosis, I've learned a lot about ADHD and how it intersects with entrepreneurship, and I've just made it my mission to help other ADHD entrepreneurs succeed, because I know ADHD is such a huge, a component in entrepreneurship. There's people with ADHD are so much more likely to be entrepreneurs. So I have a podcast called ADHD Entrepreneur Accelerator. You can find it on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcast. I have a LinkedIn newsletter, ADHD Entrepreneurs, and I run the ADHD Entrepreneur Accelerator. So, yeah. And Pierre, you're saying you're 52 and that tax is harder and harder to pay. Yeah, that is exactly it, right? As we get older, I've seen this. I've seen a lot of people. We don't have the energy to push through in the same way. When we're in 20s and 30s, we do. And so, yeah, that taxing only increases over time. So we're going to talk about 3 keys, right, to real planning or real progress as an ADHD entrepreneur. So key number 1, nail your weeks. And so one of the things, as I've been working through all this stuff, is that weeks are the key to getting where we want to go. And why is that? Well, we know that ADHD brains have a really interesting relationship to time, right? We have the time blindness, and then we also have reward mechanisms that are pretty present in the present. And the things that are further out are really hard to motivate ourselves to do. So when we think about the typical planning cycles and the progress cycles, like thinking in years, what do you want to do in 5 years? 5 years is way too far out. A year is way too far out. Even quarters are way too far out, right? So we can't really work to that because our reward mechanism doesn't really help us with that. And we can't, it's just too overwhelming to put all that together. And then days are too variable, right? Any day can just blow up at a drop of a hat, right? Something happens with the family, something happens with the client. It's just, you can't count on days. They're gonna be variable. And then if we want to have good months, well, when you break it down, months actually depend on weeks. So if we can focus on the weeks, and everything else will follow, right? Nail your week and everything else follows. And weeks are just the best container for making progress. And it's where all the ADHD stuff, we can actually work with and do it on a weekly basis and not have it overwhelm us. And so nailing the week means something that I think, this is what I think nailing the week means. Because first time I did this webinar, somebody asked the really good question, what do you consider a good week? And so here are 3 things that I think make a good week for an ADHD entrepreneur. 1, do we prioritize the right things? Right? That's not always as straightforward because our brain has some challenges in prioritizing and deciding. We're going to go into that in just a moment. Do we actually make progress on those things? Right? So that is also super important because ADHD brains, procrastination, distraction. If we don't know the right things, we can't work on them. When we do know the right things, doesn't mean we're necessarily going to work on them. So the thing is do we make any progress on those things? And then finally, do we meet our ADHD brain where it is? Because ADHD brain, like some days we're going to be awesome and we're going to be on it and we're going to be focused and we're going to be like crushing it. And then other days we're just going to be, really, really fighting to put a couple of tasks together. And that's just the nature of it. Right. So, and that leads us, that's going to lead us to our next bit here. But what it feels like when you have a good week, it feels like this. One of the folks in my weekly OS class said I was able to get on track with planning out all of my tasks for the week. I didn't get stuck in analysis paralysis and just made it happen. Like that's the essence of a good week. All right. So first key was, nail your weeks. The second key is brain first. So it just started to allude to that. Is like I said, meet our ADHD brain where it's at. And we're going to spend a little bit of time here because this is so important. And I really like to change the question from, how productive can we be to how do we best work with our ADHD brain? So here's what we're up against, right? And I call it the Great Wall of everything now. So we have brains that are amazing at developing ideas and observing things around us. And I love what Trevor Noah said about ADHD. It's not a deficit of attention. It's actually a surplus of attention. And it's the challenge is being able to focus it on the things we want when we want to focus it. So, but what that means is we have all these ideas, all these tasks, all these things that are coming into our brain, and our brain isn't really good at separating what's more urgent than anything else. So everything is equally urgent and equally important. And so you have this great wall of everything now. Everything feels like it has to happen at the moment. And that often leads to overwhelm, and overwhelm often leads to paralysis. So we're working really hard. Like there's never a question of effort. We're working really hard, but maybe not making the progress we hope. And ADHD brains are really reactive brains. We're always responding beyond the outside requests, emails, fire drills, to-dos, and things like that. The inside, we have the ideas that we're constantly generating and the emotions that we're constantly generating and the overwhelm that we're often navigating. So we're never quite feeling free. So we have to like get at this great wall of everything now and then kind of unstack it. Right. But in order to do that, we kind of have to know how our ADHD brain is really working in order to make that happen. So I'm just going to go through this because I think it's really important. And one of the things that's a little challenging with at least the US medical system is that it's very much a diagnose and prescribe. So you get an ADHD diagnosis and the doctor will say, hey, here, you got ADHD, here's your Adderall, off you go, problem fixed. And it's not that medications don't have their place, but there's such power in understanding what's really going on with your ADHD brain, and then it helps you work with it. So with ADHD brain, it really comes down to reduced executive function. And with reduced executive function comes these things like time blindness, procrastination, and distraction, the challenge of prioritizing and dealing with option overloads. Heightened rejection sensitivity. And Pierre, you just said one of the challenges is serving others before yourself. One of the things is the rejection sensitivity, that sense of, and it manifests in that almost people pleasing of, in some ways, of like serving other people before you serve yourself because you don't want people to reject you. It's just so many interesting ways that ADHD brain can, present itself. And then emotional dysregulation, we can get dysregulated really easily, and that decision fatigue and paralysis. And that gives us a greater kind of chance of rumination, anxiety, and depression. And that's, honestly, I was dealing with that. And then when I got the diagnosis, I started to learn more about ADHD. It's like, oh, okay, I understand why my brain is doing these things. And that's why it's so important to understand, what's going on with the ADHD brain. And you can do hours on that, but to simplify it, there's superpowers and there's kryptonite, right? The superpowers are this kind of learning, knowing, ideating, creating. That part of our brain is awesome. It is killing it. It is generating stuff all the time, and an idea will generate an idea, will generate an idea. And that's amazing. It's what makes us entrepreneurs. It makes us problem solvers, but it's coupled with this underpowered doing part of the brain. And this is what Dr. Hallowell in ADHD 2.0 calls the Ferrari engine with the bicycle brakes. Super powered at learning, knowing, ideating, and creating, and underpowered at the actual organizing and doing, the front part of the brain. And that's where we get into a lot of like those, hey, I know this stuff, I have the experience, I have the skills, and why can't I just do it? Well, this is why, right? It's just because our brain literally is a little underpowered on the doing side of things. And that's okay, right? That's just our brain. And I love what Dr. Russell Barkley says. ADHD isn't an attention disorder, it's a performance disorder, right? It's just ADHD brains, I believe his quote is, it's not that they don't know what they do, they just have a hard time doing what they know. And once we know that, we can just work with it. And so here are the barriers to making things happen, right? Whether it's your business or your life with ADHD, right? First, it's hard to prioritize and decide. Second, it's hard to start and focus until being finished. And third, it's hard to sustain over time, right? So you think about these three things: prioritizing, deciding, starting, focusing, and finishing, and sustaining over time. These are things that create progress in life and business, right? These are the things that compound over time. And I just break it down into decide, do, and sustain, right? Those are the things, those are the big barriers. And if we can do that better, if we can understand how to work with our ADHD brain better, we're going to make really cool progress. And this is why productivity systems fail, is because they don't start from that understanding, right? So there's there's all the software products out there. There's Notion, there's Slack, there's all these things out there, and Todoist and all these things. And why don't they stick? Why don't they work as well as we'd like them to? Well, a lot of them are tools and not systems, right? So Notion or it can be anything to anybody, or Evernote or Todoist. It can be anything, but they're not generally systems. Like GTD, getting things done, is a system. But even if it is a system, right, it's a bias towards a neurotypical brain. Like, I always laugh when I see an article about how to like organize yourself and get things done. And they say, okay, first you brain dump everything you want to do, and then you're going to prioritize, and then you're going to make a to-do list. And then I'm like, whoa, back up. That prioritization step, that's really hard for an ADHD brain. That's really cognitively expensive for us to do. And if we, by the time we're done with the prioritization, we probably don't have a lot of executive function left for the actual doing. So it's a really interesting balance. And again, what we talked about at the beginning is it just everything feels like planning and not as much about progress. And the reality is willpower, discipline, these are the hallmarks of some of the neurotypical systems. Is like willpower and discipline are no match for a dopamine hunting brain. It just isn't, right? It's not. There's only so much of that, so we have to be really smart about using our executive function and our discipline and our willpower to be really smart about that. But if we know that, right? If we understand, we start from like, how does our brain work? Okay, we're going to use that as the way we're going to do stuff. Then things will get easier. So what works for us? An ADHD supportive system will start with an understanding of ADHD brains. It will keep you anchored. Like, one of the things that ADHD brains have a sort of shortage of is working memory. This is the thing that keeps things that are out of sight in mind. So out of sight, out of mind. And so we need to keep bringing ourselves back to what's important, or what's there, because as soon as it goes out of sight, we're probably going to lose track of it. So, and it goes for priorities. So constantly surface priorities. And it isn't its own distraction, right? The thing is about it is some of these tools and systems, they become their own distraction, right? We spend so much time tuning and optimizing them, and there's so many things we can kind of customize that it's sort of like procrastinating. It's just it's like productivity that isn't actually moving us forward. And it needs to adapt to you. Like, one of the things that I think is really important is every brain is going to be a little different. And so you need to do the thing that works for you. And I'm a big proponent of like the principles that I'll share are really important. How you adapt them and use them is really really important so that it fits to you, because the thing that works is the thing that works for you. Okay, now I'm going to reveal the grand secret to time estimation for people with ADHD. This is the big secret. It's the big thing, right?
Yeah, I already know.
And that is, we have no effing clue. Time is not our relationship with time through time blindness is just really, really wacky. So it works out and it manifests in a lot of different ways. One, a minute can feel like an hour can feel like a minute, depending on our interest level. And the other thing is estimating how long anything's going to take is almost an impossible task. We're gonna severely underestimate it, and then seeing out into the future, like we can skip to the final step, and but every little step in between, we have no idea what's going to happen and how long things are take, and that gets us into trouble, right? That starts to create that great wall of everything now, because we think, I remember saying once, I'm going to redo my website in an afternoon, and I'm like, no, you're not going to redo your website in an afternoon. It turns out my website is going to take a lot more time than that if you want to do it well. So there's just this relationship with time that we have to always be aware of. And so this is where, and I'm going to share a little bit about how I use stuff and how I use Xtiles. And one of the things that I really started to understand was I tried a bunch of calendaring systems, because it's like, oh, I just need to be better with my calendar. And then, I color coded, I do all these different things, and I'd still be in the same spot. And then I realized is that that the calendar was almost like hiding priorities, because everything was kind of flat. And what I really needed to keep in front of me was my priorities. And so that's when I said, okay, let's build a dashboard that keeps my priorities surfaced. And this is when I encountered Xtiles. So, Murad, this is exactly a great segue into what I'm going to talk about for Xtiles, because I try to do some of the stuff that I was thinking with Notion, and I couldn't get it to do it the way I want. I couldn't get the visual layout. And so what I want to do now is walk you through my own dashboard so you can see how I do it, and why it works for me and for ADHD, and it's been working for a lot of other people. So let me share the right window. All right. Is everybody seeing that?
Yeah, I think it works.
Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my weekly dashboard, and let me just walk you through some of the components of it. So I needed to be visually arrayed. Now, remember, the idea was I want priorities on here. I need everything surfaced. And because ADHD brains have kind of shortages of working memory, I need all the important things, and I need to be able to organize them and put them in a way that doesn't overwhelm me. And this is why I really loved Xtiles, because I could do it exactly the way I wanted to. And so this is my weekly dashboard. Literally, you're looking at what I use every day, because I check in with it a couple times a day. And I have the week. I have my magnetic north. This is a concept I used in my weekly OS course, which you'll hear about a little later. And one of the things that's really important about prioritization is understanding why you're doing the thing that you're doing, right? Because that's the only way you can make priorities and decisions, is because you know where you're going, you know what your mission is, you know how you want things to look. And this is, I call magnetic north, something that kind of pulls you to where you want to go, because you're going to get distracted along the way, and it has to be strong enough to pull you back. And then you see my self-care up here, and so I like to keep track of that, because I know that's going to affect my brain. If I have bad sleep, if I'm not taking my meds, if my movement isn't great, I will, and my nutrition isn't there. Over time, I'll see, okay, if I'm getting through the week and I'm like, what is going on? I'm just not like killing it. I'll look at this, and first and say, oh, did I get sleep? Have I been consistent? So it's really important. And then this area is just about like, how do we get from where we are now to our mission and vision, right? And we're going to have to break it down into smaller steps because we can't just take it all at once. So I have three goals or rocks that I set, and I break them down into waypoints and obstacles that become rocks. The obstacle is the way, is the kind of thing, and rocks is a way of just saying what's important, and then what's my next step. And then I'll break those down into projects. And I'm a fan of the toggle because I can expand and collapse things. So if I have a project, I can say, okay, here are the things that are in it, and these are my tasks inside of it, and I can keep it all in view, right? And so I break it down. I'll do my brain dump on one side. I'll start narrowing it down, and I'll try to narrow it down to 2 or 3. And so then I will drag it into my week. And so you'll see I do time blocking, but it's a very different kind of time blocking. It's based on the idea of a 2-hour workday, a concept I originally learned from Aaron Croft, an ADHD coach. And the idea behind the 2-hour workday is we have, like, for me, 2 hours of peak executive function per day is kind of a good target. Some days I'll have way more. Some days I'll have not as much, but I just want the most important things to go into the parts of the day that I have the most executive function, right? That's what going back to that brain first. Okay. Do you want me to expand it? I'll make it a little larger. Is that better? And so, yeah, I'll be just dragging my to-dos into here, into my work week, and I've got my priorities just totally lined up, right? I can see it at a glance. And then I'll go through, if something doesn't happen on the day it's supposed to, I can just move it to the next day. So it has this flexibility, like we talked about. It's like, it's got my week in view. It's got the big important stuff. The priorities is always there. It's amazing how grounding this is when it's always in your sight. It really helps conquer the overwhelm. And then I have the steps that I need to take, and then I have all the different projects. So it's like I have things in mind, and then I can decide what's gonna fit into this week. And this helps me like see also if I'm trying to throw too much into the week. And then so that's my dashboard. I visit it a few times a day, and yeah, it is, I think, way easier than Notion, definitely when it comes to laying things out. But there's also cool things you can do with this. So I have somebody in my Weekly OS course right now who, and I didn't even realize I could do this with Xtiles, but she went to ChatGPT and asked it to code a dopamine reward spinner. So she could, like we talk about dopamine management in our course. And she had ChatGPT create some code, put it into CodePen, and then created this spinner. So anytime she finishes a sprint or a task, she can decide what kind of rewards she wants to get herself. So it might be brain candy, spin the wheel, and this was really cool. I just really check off a tracker app, visual dopamine hit, and like this is a thing you can do with Xtiles that I think is so cool, right? And it's just amazing. And Elizabeth Landry is the student's name. I want to give her total credit for this because it was just not me. And she has things that also for women out there. She has one that tracks her cycle because hormones obviously impact executive function and things like that. So those are the things that are really I love about Xtiles, that it's so extensible. And yeah, so that's my dashboard, and this is why I like Xtiles and why I love working with these guys. Cool. All right, so let's go back to
yeah, by the way, this update that you have with this spinning wheel is amazing. honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could inject like put something up in CodePen and have it execute within an X tiles tile. It was
Yeah, yeah,
amazing.
yeah. We have updated it like I don't know, maybe a week or so ago. So yeah, that's something new.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
and
still you
so
can embed everything you want, even a website, to be honest. Yeah.
yeah,
So it's a lot of capabilities. Yeah.
yeah, um, yeah, cool. So it's um it's pretty awesome. So I'm obviously a big fan of X tiles, and that's why I'm here, and I use it every day. Like I wouldn't be here if I didn't use it and believe in it. So and it's the core tool that I use help people when I take people through my programs and my courses. So as we saw the dashboard, we focus with one glance. Priorities are front and center, and helps us not be surprised. This is a phenomenon that I see a lot with ADHD folks, including myself, is that we'll be going along during the week and like, oh, we got surprised by something we forgot to remember, and so that helps a lot with that. And adapts to us as needed. Like this, is what I love about it too is I have people who modify the self care, even down to the emojis and things like that, because it has to be what works for you is what works, right? And so the format and the principles are really important, but how you want to modify it is awesome. And I only get so deep into it because I know uh, the progress I need to make is on the stuff that's in the priorities, and so I will sort of uh, give myself certain play times for X tiles versus like getting integrating into my day. Like I want to like carve out time to play with it versus um, going down the rabbit hole without intentionality. And you can create a version of this in print that you can print out. So if you play with it, you can do the PDF. So because some people like paper better. I would love to be a paper person, but I got one of those cool things off of Facebook, the minimal desk setup, and it had these beautiful cards and a little beautiful wooden stand and a cool graphite pencil. And I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. And I'm going to like use this system. And I started using it, trying to use it. And it turns out my handwriting is so bad, I can't read it. So paper didn't work for me, but X Tiles works really well for me. So here's how we want it to be, right? If we're going to realize our immense potential, we need to be able to decide, that is confidently prioritize and decide. We want to, if once we know what we want to do, we have to actually be able to do it. So consistently start, focus, and finish. And then we need to sustain that over time. And so I'm just going to break these down about what you need. So I'm going to go a little deep in here. Getting out of overwhelm. I like to say clarity leads to focus, focus leads to action, action leads to freedom. And part of action is like leading to more clarity. So if we want to prioritize, and you saw this in the dashboard, this is kind of how how it relates. We need a magnetic north to pull us where we want to be clear on where we want to go. We need some rock-based prioritization. We need to know how to prioritize, and we need some help in project reality checking because, as we said, the secret to ADHD time management is we have no effing clue. So we need something to help us reality check that. On the doing side, we need to be able to consistently start. Now, this 2-hour workday thing is so powerful because that makes things manageable. That means we don't have to like figure out how to like kill it for 8 hours. We just have to like really nail the 2 hours and make sure those 2 hours are pushing the right things forward. And everything after that is gravy, right? And in order to do that, we need to set up our focus shields, and then we need a no-fail starting mechanism because starting is harder than doing for a lot of us. And then finally, sustaining. To sustain over time, we have to kind of have an ongoing notion of dopamine management, of using that to our advantage. I like to say rituals versus routines because routines get boring and therefore stop happening, and rituals are ways of injecting interest and meaning into things. So we want to think in terms of rituals versus routines, and absolutely need a supportive tribe, because that leads us to key number 3. And don't do it alone. It's really challenging to do it alone. And the thing is, ADHD brains will go there. They'll want to be alone because we want to reduce the input, right? We've already got enough generating from inside our brain, and sometimes it's really kind of the impulse is to isolate, because that way at least there's some quiet in our external world. But the thing is, we also need people around us to with like brain to help us get through this, to help us do the things that we want to do. And this is like one of the biggest game changers for me has been what I call co-working. It's also called body doubling, and it is, I can't tell you, it's like it's it doesn't sound like it should work, like it should make that much of a difference. You show up with another person, you can do it in real life. I host co-working sessions every weekday at 8 a.m. Pacific time, and we just tell each other what we're going to do, set a timer, and go do it, and we repeat it, and it just works, right? And I think of it as almost a doing tribe, and people make so much progress, and it's a group where we can drop the mask, right? We don't have to apologize for being ADHD or whatever, or odd ADHD. We just be who we are. We are who we are, and it's so important. And it's sort of an enforcing function to ensure you show up, because we'll often just ignore meetings with ourselves. But if we are saying we're going to show up for other people, then there's a little bit more accountability. And it leverages that rejection sensitivity. It's like takes one side of ADHD, and this is one of the things we teach, is take one side of ADHD to help with the other. So it feels like if you're going to announce something, say you're going to do it, you don't want to get to the end of the sprint and say, hey, you didn't do it. So there's a little bit of that RSD, but it's very supportive. I think of it as not just accountability, but companionship. And this is somebody who just started in my weekly OS course, which I'll be telling you about. And this is in their second week. And they said, I feel more settled when I engage in co-working. Being around others who are also focusing helps me feel accountable and regulated. Really fascinating, like regulated and settled. And that's a big part of like navigating this journey. And it's kind of fun. Like we have a community that's growing, and it's great people. All of them are doing interesting stuff, and we're contributing. Like that spinner is from somebody in the community. This is their second week in the course, Elizabeth. And it's just amazing, the group of people we have. Okay, so 3 keys. Just to review: nail your weeks, brain first, gotta meet there, and then don't do it alone. All right, makes sense? So just stop and answer a couple questions here. Routines versus rituals. I think I mentioned that rituals have, a routine is just something you do. A ritual is something is things you attach to that thing that you do. So it could be a ritual. It could be just getting your favorite cup of tea and your favorite mug with your favorite snack is a ritual as a reward. A ritual could be sitting down, reviewing the dashboard that I have, and playing a certain kind of music when I do that. Okay, so the idea that I'd like to introduce is like a weekly OS. This is an ADHD progress system. It would reduce overwhelm, help prioritize, decide even when you feel buried in options. It would stop procrastination and overcome distraction. Provide a community of like-brain people so you can do and sustain focus over time, and it'll adapt to your unique brain. And so this is what I've been helping people do, build their own weekly OS. And here's what happens. This came out this last week, this first one. I love this one. I was able to complete the work for 3 clients this week. So happy. I danced around my house an hour this morning. Amazing. I just feel freer. I mean, it's just amazing. I had a huge backlog of flagged emails, and I've cut that in half. I mean, I just feel more relaxed. Like I can do this. It's a good feeling. This is what I've seen too. Really powerful one. My ADHD brain was telling me to give up. It's too hard. Having a place to show up daily, which both makes me accountable and supports me in this unique way, is quite frankly, beyond my wildest dreams. You are encouraging me to get to know myself and meet myself exactly where my brain is functioning daily, instead of fighting it and beating myself up. And there's a lot of this letting go of beating yourself up and that shame in the programs that I do. I got more done in the last 40 minutes than I've done in the last 2.5 months. I hear that a lot. I also hear this took 5 months and 20 minutes. 5 months to procrastinate and 20 minutes to actually do it. Before your weekly OS, I was giving up before I even began working. I had nearly lost all self-confidence that I should even be working in my field anymore. Since starting, I've achieved many small wins, which enabled me to get on track with a big project. Was able to communicate with my clients promptly rather than being frozen with anxiety and fear of adding more to my plate. And finally, I got the real work done. The fact that I got like all 5 email sequences and social media done yesterday means that I was able to give that all to my VAs, and my whole team is working on it now, and it's off my plate. That is almost miraculous. So really powerful stuff here. Okay, so people have asked, how do you join, or how do you become part of this? If this sounds interesting to you, I've got a really, really good program, a really good deal for you guys that we partner with Xtiles. So I have a program, a course called Your Weekly OS. It's a 3-week program. And what we do is we literally build a weekly OS for your ADHD brain. And we run it and tune it. And I just see people making incredible progress with your business. You've seen examples of that already with some of the folks who are the spinning wheel is Elizabeth is a recent attendee, a student in the course, and it consists of these things. It's an interactive gamified course. So it's a really fun platform, lots of dopamine hits, lots of celebrations, some really cool things that happen. But it's not just the online, lessons. There's 3 weeks of the co-working sessions every day, 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time, and then weekly live learning sessions every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. There's an hour where you can come in and ask me anything, kind of open office hours, whether it's on how to use the dashboard, how to build a magnetic north, how to just navigate where you are with the business. And then also it includes a year subscription to Xtiles Plus within it, which is pretty awesome. It's a great partnership that we have. And so there's the address there. And it's usually $4.99, but I'm partnering this week with Xtiles. You guys can get $300 off with that coupon. So just get it for $199. So that means that, if $99, and that includes the Xtiles Plus access for the year. So a really great deal. And, some people who have been part of it, I asked them what they would say. They said, do it. The amount of progress you will be able to make will give you back the value, invest and beyond. It was a no-brainer even before the 3 weeks were over. This one was perfect for, this idea of nothing ever sticks. This person's been a bit of productivity hack, kind of geek for a long time. Nothing ever sticks. And this 2 hours a day was absolutely mind-blowing for me. So one other thing I want to tell about this program is I've also created these 3 unlockable bonuses that are pretty fun. As you, in certain places, a lot of programs will just give you the bonus, but hey, we're going to gamify this. You unlock it when you complete certain lessons, including, a desktop, placard for your magnetic north, ADHD music playlist, and if you do everything, you actually unlock a coaching session with me. So really cool, which is a huge value. All these things, and the biggest thing, a lot of times it's about, okay, how did we grow our business? But there's other thing that I also see is this sense of peace and relief. Like this person who's in the course right now and is not even finished the second week. I'm taking away a sense of peace and relief with the brain first approach. I've been getting more done within 2 hours and enjoying what I get done outside of it with a greater sense of ease and freedom. This is really big. So, so here's the, so that's the program. I'll answer, and this is what I have to speak with you guys, to bring to you guys today. But it's a really amazing program. I hope you join us. It's a fantastic community of people. And I'll just open it up to questions now, and I'm here to answer however many questions we have.
So first, I believe, you can see.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that we have about 10 minutes until the webinar, until this hour ends. And just want to highlight, if you already have a subscription, we will give you another year. So do not hesitate to use this deal, to get this offer. I know, I believe it's super valuable. And as always, I feel myself super lucky because we have amazing people in our place, amazing people in our community, amazing people go to Steve's course, and I also been there, and it's simply amazing. Yeah. But there is a question for you, Steve. It's like meeting
Yeah, the
times.
meeting times of the daily sessions, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, and that is 4 p.m. UK time. And then the live sessions on Mondays are at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 6 p.m. UK time. And if you're in other parts of the world, that's as much as my time zone brain can do.
Yes, it's a lot, to
Um,
be honest.
yeah.
Just to answer this question, if you already have a subscription, we will give you another year. So yeah, just contact our support, and we'll do everything by our own.
There's a question on
Yeah.
flexible start date. Yeah, you can start this anytime. Yeah, you can get the deal this week, and just let me know that you want to start it when you want to start it, and I will adjust the course. How many times, Michelle? How many times a week for which thing? I think
believe it is about body dubbing sessions, like
the
co-working
Monday through
sessions.
Fridays, every day. Friday. So it's 8 a.m. It's 2 hours on Monday through Thursday and 1 hour on Friday. Yeah, Tammy, the program that you saw on that is what Weekly OS grew into. So that program is is basically has evolved into this. So this is the thing you would want to do for sure. And that program did not have any of the live sessions, didn't have the bonuses, didn't have the gamified course. So this is definitely the course to take.
Yeah, by the way, I just want to say that if you have something like some X-Tiles related questions, so if you are a bit afraid how to start, basically it's super easy to do. But still, we will have another webinar tomorrow. It will be only me, I believe. Talking about X-Tiles, it will be like intro session for beginners. So I will tell all the differences between us and many more places, how you can start, what you can do over there, and I will also answer all the questions that we will have tomorrow. So stay tuned. I just want to say that if you are a bit afraid of, just learning another, like a new productivity application, you do not need to be afraid of. We also have huge amount of feedback, like it's super easy to start. You do not need to plan to start, you just start. You do not need to find some perfect system template, because it's already a system itself. You can easily drag and drop everything. So yeah.
Cool. And so this deal is good till Friday. So I would recommend getting started as soon as possible. Or if you want to start at a later date, just let me know when you register, and I'll set the system so that it'll work for the date you want to start.
By the way, yes, this webinar will be recorded, so it will be accessible right after we finish, because it will stay on the YouTube. So yes, and I will also share a link to the webinar about X-Tiles itself, about all the features we have, and yeah, something like that. Thank you so much for your feedback.
Pierre is asking about private coaching. I do have limited availability, so if you want to reach out to me, steveaugustcoaching.com is my site. At the bottom, there's a contact me form, so you could do that, or hit me up on LinkedIn as well.
Thank you, Carl. Amazing feedback.
So, Rebecca, it's interesting. I do see folks who are employed using it as well. They're using it and having a lot of success with it. So that and the other use cases, people who are employed and are looking to like start something, and that was something that helps them actually. Like one of the challenges is, hey, I got this thing right now that makes me money, but I have this thing I really want to do. It's a challenge sometimes to balance those, and so a lot of people are getting a lot of benefit from being able to balance those. So saying, hey, I now can feel at peace with how I'm doing the money things I do for money, and I'm making progress on the big dream, the big mission that I want to do.
I just want to say from my side, it's super beneficial to everybody who wants to accomplish things, to make the tasks done, and so on. Because first of all, it will help you to understand your priorities, how you need to basically understand your priorities, how you need to prioritize everything, and just do not feel overconfident when you say like I will do a website afternoon or whatever. So I believe it's super beneficial for everybody. To be honest, I understand this session tailored to entrepreneurs, but still a lot of us have like huge amount of stuff to do, and with these sessions, with this course, you will understand everything much more better how to do your job. Something like that.
Awesome. We got a few more questions in here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Ehud asked about in the weekly template, the process at the end of the week is I personally manually reset it because that's part of my ritual, is giving myself credit for actually dragging or moving tasks to my completed tasks area, because ADHD brains in with a short working memory will forget that they did a lot of work at the beginning of the week. Like Monday's gone, right? We have our relationship with time is so strange. And so it's a great way to remind myself that, yes, I did accomplish a lot this week. So I reset it every week manually. Willow, since you've seen this demo a few times, with an entrepreneur experience, does using the same tools or doing the same routinized talks get hard to stick to? Well, this is part of one of the big things we do in the chapter on sustaining, on the module on sustaining. And part of it is and we talked about rituals versus routines. Routinizing makes it really hard, but ritualizing creates a level of meaning and interest that really helps with the sustaining. And when we know that's the game, is like we have to be able to sustain that. There's an opportunity to use our ADHD creativity to like actually help us with that. Does this program address solopreneurship while balancing personal lives, i.e. kids? Yes, it will definitely help with that.
Yeah, many people say like Xtals is the best place to keep everything under one roof. This related not only to your work, obviously, but we have a lot of families, by the way.
Yeah, that's one of the things that people start to notice, is that they're actually able to more embrace their personal lives because they're getting out of the overwhelm, and they're able to be more at peace. Like I had one person in the last one of the groups who had taken it, and she actually said her daughter came up to her and said, what's changed? Because you're different. Like there's something going on. And she said, yeah, I've been in this course and like I'm able to like be present and do things. And she actually started taking on other things that she really wanted to do because she felt like she had the space to do that. So yes, it's huge for that.
Amazing feedback. By the way, Paula, we have another webinar tomorrow. Not we, but it will be only me talking about textiles. So it will be like an onboarding session. I will be answering questions from all of you, by the way, who wants to join. And yeah, I will go through textiles about what do we have inside our let's say, keys to successfully onboard to our place, to understand what the difference is between all the places and so on. Yeah, another question, does Xtals work on an iPad? Yes, it works. Usually we say like we have a mobile application, iPad application as well, but it's like your go-to app. So to get the best experience, you need to use desktop. But still, you're able to edit everything on your iPad and so on. Yeah. And Vilo, thank you so much for your feedback. It's always amazing to have you here. Fabio as well, by the way. Yeah, thank you so much. Christy, thank you so much for your feedback, by the way. Ehud, I hope I pronounced it correctly. Yeah, you can copy all of your tasks and carry onward easily. Yeah, and Andrea, like I mentioned, we have a lot of families over here, and yeah, Xtals is super easy to start with, and yeah, we have many people that recommend their spouses, like you need to try it, something like that. I believe it's we also have native macOS application, so you can use our desktop application, by the way. And we do not have any mind mapping feature because it's like maybe not something that we are looking into. Yeah, yeah. I believe we almost finished. Yes, thank you so much, Rebecca. Yeah, if you have this kind of experience, you need to download our application. You will be able to do everything. Steve, maybe you have some feedback,
Yeah.
and I believe, yeah,
No, I just want to. I think at this point, just thanks for everybody for being here, and
yeah,
hope you got something valuable out of it. Would love to have you in the course and get you where you want to go. And yeah, it's just a really good time to be. The tools and the systems here are so good, and so it's a good time to be able to make progress on the things you really want to make progress on these days.
for sure, for sure. Well, thank you so much. It is like it always. It's amazing session. Amazing to have all of you. Amazing to have familiar faces that always interacting. So super engaged. So thank you so much. It's also a pleasure to see some new faces. Let's say, Christina, thank you so much for your feedback. Thank you, SF. Um, Pierre, thank you as well. So Fabio, Vilo, thank you all. Rebecca, thank you so much. And yeah, we'll have another webinar in 2 weeks. But this session, yeah, we are always trying to be better. Yes,
Yeah,
we
for
were
sure.
yesterday. Okay, see
See you
you
there,
in
Bev.
the week. Yes, it's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. Okay, thank you all. Thank you so much, Steve. As always, it's always a pleasure to run a webinar with you, to mostly just to listen to you because I'm not just that active as usual, but still, it's always insightful for me as well.
Yeah,
So thank you so
and thank
much.
you again. And just really appreciate your partnership and hosting, and appreciate the tool you've created. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you. And yeah, just want to say thank you to all of you and wish you the great rest of your day and see you.